You know, I figured that by May 15th, the morning of, I'd be making this video because it would happen again in Game 7. My Toronto Maple Leafs found a way again to lose in 7 games against the Tampa Bay Lightning, unfortunately. But you know what? There is a lot to unpack other than, oh, the Leafs lost another game 7, because there is so much more to this series and to this game and to what just happened than that alone, okay? There is so much that has happened in this series. I think we're just going to quickly go through this from start to finish. So, yeah, with that being said, game 1. There were quite a couple games where I couldn't exactly watch because I was working, okay? I will be clear about that. I think game 2, I was working. Game 3, I was at a wedding. Game 7, I was working. So yeah, I wasn't able to watch many games. Game 1 was one of the games I sat down and watched. The Leafs had to kill a 5-minute major that the Leafs had to kill. We got it done. Then from there, we scored 5 unanswered goals and took major control of the series in Game 1. Game 2 is when we had a couple issues defensively, some lapses which caused some goals. By the time I got back from work, it was 5-1 Lightning. The Leafs scored 2, and I thought we had a shot with 4 minutes to go, but we couldn't finish it up. So we went back to Tampa with the 1-1 series tie. Game 3, Leafs jump out to a 3-0 lead in the game. David Kampf had a goal. I think it was Blackwell and Marner who had the other 2 in that game. And although the Lightning scored 2, the Leafs managed to finish it off with empty net goals from Ilya Mikheyev. We won that game 5-2, but Tampa woke us up badly in game 4. That was a wake-up call that we needed. Within 10 minutes, it's a 3-0 game in the first period, and not even halfway through the second, it is a 5-0 game. The Leafs scored 2 in the third period, and then from there, Tampa scored 2 empty netters. Jake Muzzin put another one in. Jake Muzzin in the playoffs is kind of outrageous. I don't know what the hell gets into him. But unfortunately, the Leafs lose that 7-3. This sends us to game 5 at home in Toronto, tied 2-2. Lightning get off to another great start. They are up 2-0. They end up taking the lead into intermission. The Leafs respond with the goal of their own in the second period. And from there, Tavares, Nylander, the floodgates open. Because they set up for the second goal. Nylander scored the third goal. Those boys woke up at the time that we needed them to wake up. And from there, Matthews scored a game winner. That was a rebound of a shot off of Vasilevsky's blocker that Marner had initially shot. So Marner shot it, Vasilevsky blocked it, the rebound went straight to Matthews' stick, potted it in the net. 4-3 Maple Leafs win. We go to 7. It's a game 6 in Tampa. We're up 3-2. In that game, oh my goodness, John Tavares continues to get it going. Like, again, we are down 2-0, but headed by guys like Nylander and Tavares once again, we got the goals we needed to get. 3-2 into the third. We're 20 minutes away from moving on to round 2. And unfortunately, we took a 5-on-3, which I'm not even going to complain about the refs in any of this series because the Leafs, we'll get to that in a minute, okay? But just that call on Kerfoot was not the greatest. That was not a high stick. It was more of an embellishment to the shoulder. That was not a high stick to the face. That 5-on-3 causes Tampa to tie it. We go to overtime. Leafs have all kinds of momentum, but on a rebound of a shot that Campbell initially saved, Campbell, it gets through the 5-hole. Hall and Bunting go to save it, and they can't get it done. And then from there, we go to 7 in Toronto. Nick Paul becomes a Leaf killer. Justin Hall set a screen because he thought he was an NBA player, and he screwed up a goal that Tavares scored, and it was beautiful, but it didn't count. Austin Matthews scored. Austin Matthews gave it to Marner, who gave it to Riley, who scored, sorry. And unfortunately, Nick Paul scored a second time, and the Leafs just came up just short. This time, against the Tampa Bay Lightning, went to the final buzzer. They didn't lose. Embarrassingly, they just lost in Game 7. Now, last night I was personally very pissed off. I just everything came to a boiling point at the end of the day because I had a long day and I just wanted to see a Leafs win. And unfortunately, I didn't get a Leafs win. So that really pissed me off. That made me upset. That just. ah, a lot of thoughts in my brain involved, fire Keith, get rid of Dubas, get rid of Shanahan. And on paper, okay, you could maybe say that. And you can't do anything about the core team either. I think I said something about Justin Hall. He better not be in a Leafs uniform next year. He cost us this game. You know what? Seriously, this transitions right into my next topic, which is why we shouldn't hold our heads over this, guys. Leafs fans, this is the best team in the playoffs that we played against. The best playoff performer in the Tampa Bay Lightning, okay? This is the best Leafs team we've seen in the playoffs in the last 6 years. We were up and coming against the Capitals in 2017. We took another step up in 2018 against Boston. We kind of stayed pat in 2019 against Boston. Columbus was just the bubbles. So I wouldn't call that a write off year, but we just sucked. That we did horrible. We were out of form. Montreal last year, we completely choked in 2021, but this year in Tampa, every single one of the 18 players we iced from games 3 to game 7 gave it their all throughout the game. Gave it everything they had, especially in games 5, 6, and 7, to do what they could to win the best out of 3 there that would ensure them a spot in round 2 against the Florida Panthers. These Leafs did everything they could. They tried. They tried until the very last buzzer went off to get into the next round. That's something that we didn't see for the last 2 years. Last 3. The Leafs put in every last bit of effort they had into this game. And that, for me as a Leafs fan, makes me happy. Because at least now I see that these boys have the instinct, have the drive, have the will to go get it done. So we may have lost in game 7, but we gave everything we had in that game 7. Jack Campbell as a goalie, fantastic. This whole series, there was one rocky game for him in game 4. Otherwise, I think he did everything he could correctly. Vasilevsky's a fantastic goaltender, so the Leafs getting one on him in this game 7 elimination game kind of surprises me because I knew they weren't going to get shut out, but at least they got one. And I'm happy that the Leafs didn't completely choke. You can say, well, they lost another game 7. They went against the reigning Stanley Cup champions of 2 years. Tampa knows how to finish. The Leafs are inexperienced at that. And they got one goal away. They were so close to sending it to overtime at the end. They almost made it. They almost got it done. This is why I say you don't blow up the team. You don't get rid of what you got. You don't do anything. You can't. Unfortunately, you just don't. You don't blow it up. I just sent to the MLW Discord because again I pretty much live in there at this point. I said recording my Leafs video now. I'm much calmer than last night. Thank goodness. Yeah, so I just decided to say that now because you know what? Last night I was pissed. I was just like saying, guys, I need therapy. Send me videos to help me to help cheer myself up because I was not in the best headspace yesterday. I had a long day yesterday. Very dehydrated yesterday. Not fun yesterday. At the end of the day, made a lot of money. I did a lot of work yesterday. But for real though, we're gonna move our focus back onto the Leafs here. Where do you go from here? I mean, the problem is Keefe will stick around as the head coach if Kyle Dubas is still here. You're not going to get rid of one unless you get rid of the other. Okay, so Shanahan, that's got to be something that Shanahan does. If he wants to get rid of Keefe, unfortunately, Dubas might have to go too. And that means that Keefe is going to stick around because Dubas, as a general manager, he made so many good moves this season, in this last year, to acquire players like Bunting, Michael Bunting, David Kampf, Andre Kasha, Ilya Lyubushkin, Colin Blackwell, Mark Giordano. The only one that really didn't work out was Peter Mrazek and Nick Ritchie. Those were 2 out of like 8 acquisitions that didn't work out in the Leafs' favor. That's not his fault. Peter Mrazek, I'm just gonna say the only reason that was not a good signing is because he was injured the whole season. The one time he was getting hot, he got injured. Don't know what's gonna happen to him. Guys, I don't know what more to say. Every single one of these players in this series did not do anything horrible. They were doing the best they could. This was the best we've seen the Leafs in a playoff round. They did not fold after game 6, after they lost in overtime. They put it all on the line in game 7. Nick Paul is some kind of leaf killer now. Unfortunately, boys, this is the way the season ends. You can't do anything from here. There is no move that I think you can make that doesn't destroy your chemistry, your team chemistry, your core right now that makes you a better team. This was a painful loss, but I think out of any of the 15 teams in the playoffs, we got one of, if not the toughest, to play against in the first round. I'm not going to go ahead and complain about the playoff format because we have had the advantage last year and we still couldn't get it done. I personally think that the Maple Leafs have the ability to figure this out and move on. And maybe next year we can get it done because this core proved themselves this year to at least give everything they have in a playoff series and not get deflated at any point. They performed how we expected them to. They just came up one goal short against the reigning Stanley Cup champions. That is it for the Maple Leaf season, unfortunately, and I will take it. You know what? We gave it everything. I'm proud of the boys. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you expected me to get mad, I think I got all my anger out last night. I'll show some messages now of me getting pissed. But unfortunately, that's it. That's the end of the season for the Leafs. I'd like to see Tampa go all the way. I don't know why. I think it would just look better if we lose to the Cup champions. But with that being said, guys, I think that's it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys all next time. Peace out.